Hey, welcome back to Adam's Brick Reviews. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build the fast food restaurant, which is one of the construction stores from Makeup Blocks. This one is $3, 142 pieces, plus one decor sheet. And I'm going to just show you step by step how to build this, so let's get started. Okay, here are the parts needed for step one. You can pause here if you need more time. I'm going to do this with every step. I'll just show the parts needed, then I'll just move on to building. Always pause if you need more time on that, but let's get going. So first, you're going to want to take the little 1x1 tall black one, and you're going to go 5 from the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put it right there. There should be 4 open squares, or pegs, studs, whatever. Now, take your little 1x1 round tile and the other little 1x1 round, connect them together. And then they're going to go on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there and right there. That is it for step one. Let's move on to step two. Okay, here are your parts for step two. Again, pause if you need to. I'm just going to get started building. First thing you want to do is take this one here and snap your little window into it. And then it's going to go right next to this, and you want the side that has the window. So you see how it's closer to one side than the other? That should face to the right. Well, how I'm holding it, it should face to the right. Just like that. And then you're going to take this piece, and it is going to go one spot in and one spot back. So there should be right here, it should just be 2 spots over from this. And that's just going to go right there. That's it for step two. Let's move on to step three. Okay, here are the parts for step three. Look, it's the golden arches. Let's see. So this is going to go right next to this. Okay, so the first stud goes right next to that white. Then you're going to leave one open row and put this other one right there. You're going to take your black piece, and it's going to go all the way in this corner. I'm not really sure why they're going so scattered for each step, but they are. And then this looks like it's going to go right here. So you can see where this one is, so it's just cornered to that one. Easy enough. Okay, that is it for step three. Let's move on to step four. Okay, here are the parts for step four. Again, let's put the glass, well, plastic, but it's supposed to be glass, into the frame. And then this, and bump my camera and make it shake all over the place. This is going to go, the side with the frame, with the glass is going to go right beside the black corner piece there. This blue one is going to go right here. So just follow the slit down, one open row, this. And then this one is going to actually go right here. Right there. So right next to this and right next to this. Okay, that's it for step four. Now let's move on to step five. Okay, here are the parts for step five. One thing you'll notice, I grabbed the one that has the Greenbrier International little logo on it. Every Makeup Block set has one piece that has this writing on it, and I always try to find where I can put it to hide it. And in this case, it's going to be this step right on top of that black piece. So you see, you can still see it here, but not for long, not for long. Take your frame and your piece of glass, put it in, and put it right on top of the other one. So now you can no longer see that Greenbrier International. Not that it's a big deal, but it kind of can make for some ugly builds if it's in the wrong place. So So that piece will go there, the tall one. The other tall one, I should say. And then the black is going to go right on top of the orange. This will go right here, so the open corner right there, and then right there. And the last piece is this little white square, and it's going to go on top of this blue. Just like that. That is it for step 5. Let's move on to step 6. Okay, here are the parts for step 6. As usual, let's start by popping the glass in the frames. Now this time we have a white frame and a black frame. So the white frame is going to go over on top of this clear piece we put right there. And the black one is going to go over here. The glass in this case faces away from the center, and the same in this one. So it'll face this way, because this is inside the building here. And then this, which kind of looks like it might be ice cream or something. That's how you know this isn't McDonald's, because the ice cream machine must not be broken. But this will just go on top of this white block here. And that is it for step 6. Let's go ahead and move to step 7. Okay, here are the parts for step 7. Let's go ahead and get started with these first. So the first one is going to go right next to the white tray and this black. The next one will go just on the other side of this. And then these two are going to go on either side of this right here. So one here and one here. Okay, next you're going to take the yellow and put it on top of the yellows, just like that. Take the white and put it right down on top of the black. Just like that. Now we're done with step 7. Let's move on to step 8. Okay, here are the parts for step 8. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to put the door on the frame, and we want the handle to be on the left. So just snap it in. There we go. And this will go right between these two pillars. So right there. And then we have all these little green things, and these are going to actually go on top of this. So let's start there, put that way, and then we're going to rotate each of them. So then the next one will face this way, and then this way, and then this way. So that's, you'll see later, but this is actually a giant hamburger, and that's just the lettuce for it. And that is it for step 8. Let's go ahead and move on to step 9. Okay, here are the parts for step 9. Let's go ahead and start assembling. First, we take the little ice creamy looking thing and pop it in that. So it's kind of like a milkshake, I would assume. And it will go right on the yellow table right there. The other piece is just this little yellow circle, and that will go on the table right there. And that is it for step 9. Let's move on to step 10. Okay, here are the parts for step 10. Now I'm also going to need to use these decals. Well, one of the decals. I'm going to take the fast food decal off, and it's going to go on one of these yellow bits. I'm doing everything in the camera instead of seeing it in person, so it's very strange. But there we go. Now the sticker's on. This will go on the right side of the door. The one that says fast food will go here. If I can get all the pieces to line up and snap together, would be awesome. There we go, just like that. Then the other one, the one that's left plain, is going to go over on the other side, right here. So everything's just kind of in a line here. Now these are going to actually go on top of this. So they're just going to go like that all the way around. Because as I said, this is a giant hamburger. Oops. Now I'm going to drop everything. And there we go. See? Giant hamburger. I love it. Okay, that is it for step 10. Let's move on to step 11. Okay, here are the parts for step 11. This is actually one of my favorite pieces of this build. So you're going to take your 2x2 square, and you're going to take 4 of these little corner ones with the studs on all the sides, and you're going to put those on each of those. Okay, next you are going to take these little claws, if it'll focus, there we go, and you're going to put those on top of them. So they're going to go that way on these 2 corners. If my focus would stay, come on, there we go. Oh my gosh, come on, come on, come on. There we go, thank you, camera. And then on the others, it's going to go the opposite direction. Just like you see there. Then into each of these, you're going to snap one of these pieces. Just like that, and you can tilt them a little bit out so that they're not just perfectly lined up, because they're French fries, as you will see in a moment. Okay, the next thing you want to do is take these little flat ones, and you're going to put one on each side, sticking up a little bit. So right there, so you see it sticks up a little bit. So you're going to do that on each side. I'm going to keep sliding everything around, because that's what I do. Let's see, there we go. So one on each side, and it's your fries. But there's a little decal I need first. The decal that says Mega Combo. And that you're just going to put on any of the sides. It doesn't really matter which side. So I'm just going to slap it on here. Very crooked, but I don't really care that much. And then you're going to place it on this square for the first stud, so it'll go there. So you'll notice there's one stud open to the side, but it's kind of half covered by this piece. That's where that one goes. And then you're going to take the other pieces you have, and you're going to put the white little 1x2 on top of the other white piece. The opening will face this direction, and it will go right here. So 3 studs between that and this, and then just one row right here. And that is it for step 11. Let's move on to step 12. Okay, you'll notice I changed the camera angle a little bit, but that's just so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And these are the parts for step 12. Let's go ahead and start assembling them. So first you're going to take this big red thing, and it's going to connect right above the door. So the 4 studs in the middle will be on the door, and it's just the first row that will connect, meaning there's 1 on this yellow, 4 on the door, 1 on this yellow, just like that. And beside them we are going to place some of these. So these will hold all the edges together right here. So the 1x4s hold all the sides together, and then the 1x2s just kind of fill the space between these in the red. Just like that. And like that. There we go. That is it for step 12. Now let's move on to step 13. Okay, here are the parts for step 13. So we're going to take the 1x4s, and we're going to put them right on top of these black 1x4s, so here and here. Just like that. And then we're going to take the 1x3s, and they're going to go right here and right here. So they'll take up one of the red spots. Next, we're going to want to take the 2x6, and it's going to go right here. So you'll have one spot left here, and since this isn't really held on that great, you're going to have to hold underneath while you push down. Just like that. And then you're going to take the rest of your pieces here. You start with red on the left, and it's going to hook onto the front little lip right there. And you're going to alternate red, white, all the way across. Now it's starting to look like a KFC. There we go. That is it for step 13. Now let's move on to step 14. Okay, here are the parts for step 14. And we're going to want to take 2 of the 4 studs. Yes, these are clear. And they're going to go on top of those other 4 studs. So there and there. Only pushed down, not just sitting on it. The other of the 4 is going to go on these 4 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. The 2 white 1x2s are going to go next to that. Oh, there it is. On either side. And then the 1x3s of the clear will go right there on top of the other white thing. So that is it for step 14. Time for step 15. Okay, here are the parts for step 15. First, you're going to want to take your big red one right here, and it is going to go right here. So you're going to see just your open studs in the front and then the red thing right behind it. And yes, that makes a weird little gap right there. Next to that, on either side, you're going to put one of these 1x1 squares. It's right there and right there. And as usual, the 1x4s will go on top of where all the rest of the 1x4s are. And there we are. That is it for step 15. Now let's do step 16. Okay, here are the parts for step 16. What we want to do, take your really, really long black pieces and connect all the way across that gap and then right in front of it. So everything will be nice and covered now. And then these, the little red things with a lip on it, are going to go in front. So the first one is going to actually hang off, only one stud hooks on, so it's even with that red piece. And that's the same on both sides. And then the other 2 just go between them. Just like that. Get all the way down though. There we go. Okay. That is it for step 16. Now let's do step 17. Okay, here are the parts for step 17. Let's go ahead and get started with that. So let's take these ones, and they are going to go on the back and front corners of this roof with the ledge or the opening facing like the center. Come on. There we go. So there's 4 of those. They'll just go like that on each corner. Then we have these 2 really long ones. And they're going to go here. And right next to it here. Then these short ones are going to fill in the gaps. So there, which I don't know why they didn't put that here and this in the middle. I think that would have looked better. But I'm following their instructions right now. And on this gap. And then this one. And then this is as tall as I have to build. And then I'm going to have to put some stuff here, I think, next. But that is it for step 17. Let's move on to step 18. Okay, here are the parts for step 18. Let's start with this one here, the red one that's only 1 wide. It's going to go all the way on the far left. And I'm just going to go from left to right because that's the easiest way. So next to that will be one of the 1 wide whites, followed by a 2 by red, then another 1 by white, another 2 by red, and end with a 1 by white. Just like that. And that's the awning. Okay, that's it for step 18. Let's move on to step 19. Okay, here are the parts for step 19. Let's start assembling. So we take one of the 1 by 1 yellows and put it all the way on the left of that awning in that open spot. Next to that, you're going to take one of these. They're the ones with a little bevel on them. And that's going to go right next to that. And then one of the 1 by 2 with studs, another one of those ones with a little bevel, and then a 1 by 1 with a stud. That's it for 19. Let's move on to 20. Okay, here are the parts for step 20. And we're actually going to be building a separate piece right this second. So we're going to go ahead and take one of these red 3x3s and then the 1 by for the white. Snap it on. Take the other 3x3 red, put it there, and then the 2x6 white right on top of that. So you have this 2 reds on the bottom and then the whites on the top. And that's it for step 20. Let's move on to step 21. Okay, here are the parts for step 21. And it's just going to take one of these right there, one of these right there. That's it for step 21. Let's move on to step 22. Okay, here are the parts for step 22. So we're going to take the 2 wide of this little curve piece and put it on the same as where the 2 wide white is. So it's going to go on that side there. And then again on the other end right here. And then we're going to do the other curves, the 1 wide, and put them next to each of those, so there and there. In the very center, we're going to put the one with a little jumper in the middle here, just right there. And then a 1 by 2 tile on either side of it. Maybe if it'll snap in. There we go. So we have that. And that is it for step 22. Let's move on to step 23. Here are the parts for step 23. All we're actually doing is attaching the piece we had just made to this pillar right here. And you're going to want to put one of the studs on either side of that separation there, so it's centered right there. And that's it for 23. Let's move on to step 24. Okay, here are the parts for step 24. Let's go ahead and first put my decal on. So I have 1 decal left and it looks like a hamburger. So I'm just going to put it on this. It shouldn't matter which direction. So I'm just going to slap it on there. Boom, hamburger. Now we're going to want to take this piece and stick it into the back of the sign. take the claw and hook it onto that. And then we can rotate the sign however we need. This is why it didn't matter which way the sticker went on, because I can just rotate it. And we'll put that there. And that will hook onto that stud there. Oh, I've missed a piece. Almost forgot. I had to put it on that first. Which is this thing with a little tall thing sticking out. Drop it because I drop everything because I'm clumsy. And that'll go on there. Now we're going to take the last of these pieces. And they're going to go on the roof. So the one that's 2 wide will go on top of the center things, and the ones that are 1 wide will go on top of the end ones. Just like that. Okay, and that is it for the build. This is what you get. I think it's pretty cool. I do really like this build, especially for $3. Everything kind of holds together nicely. And I definitely would recommend picking one of these up if you happen to see them at your Dollar Tree. If you like this video, tap the like button, subscribe so that you can catch some new content, and have a great day.